Hey, what's going on, guys? And today we are going to be reviewing Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, the next installment in the Friday the 13th series after Part 8. Now, this movie's interesting to me because this was a first time watch for me the other day, and it was an interesting experience to say the least. Now, this movie tells the tale of Jason finally getting hunted down by the government and taken out, and then possessing bodies in order to get to his relatives and in order to restore his form. Now, this movie was a fun ride for me after all the bullcrap that um uh was part 8 and the little bit of bullshit that was part 7. This was like kind of like a breath of fresh air because it was so wacky and fun to watch. It was like I didn't know what was going to happen next. So with that being said, let's get into the positives and negatives of this movie, and mixed. So starting off with the positives, for the little bit we get of him, Kane Hodder does a good job as Jason. Now this might be his worst performance by far that I've seen. But that's only because we don't really even see Jason in his Jason form. We just see him possess people, but that's not Kane Hodder's fault. With little Kane Hodder is here, he did a good job. But my next positive I have is that Cretan Duke is one of the best characters we get to follow in this franchise ever. He is so fun to watch. Every time he was on screen, it was a good time. Like every scene, he killed it. He was the star of the show. Even when he was getting thrown around, he was the star of the show. And not only that, but the cast of characters here is like one of the most memorable casts that we have ever had, surprisingly, with the variety of characters and stuff. Like, I remember this cast more than I remember the cast of, like, part 3. And even 1. Like, besides one character in 1 and 3, then I don't, like, really remember the names of any of the other characters, but I remember distinctly these characters. Like, it was just a wild ride with these characters, to say the fucking least, man. Because this movie is batshit. But anyways, and going on with the next positive, I think making Jason a Deadite was a great idea. It explains like a lot of the stuff that we've seen so far from Jason with him coming back to life and all that stuff. It's a good explanation, and it also adds like so much lore to the franchise, and it like gives you like, it makes you wonder like, when was the Necronomicon used to bring Jason back to life? Because we see the Necronomicon in Pamela Voorhees' house, so she must have used it, and that must be how he came back to life. So it's like interesting to see, like, did she use it? How long after he died did she use it? Like, did he come back to life immediately, or did he come back to life like whenever she was killed? Like, it's interesting. Well, that last part probably doesn't make a little bit of sense, but anyways, making him a Deadite, very interesting. Ties it in a little bit with the Evil Dead franchise, which is a neat little thing. There's also a comic out there called Freddy versus Jason versus Ash that further develops this plot line. So I haven't read it, but I've seen like a synopsis and stuff, and it looks cool. But anyways, going on with the next positive, the kills here are good. They're very good. They are a major step up from whatever Jason Takes Manhattan and Part 7 The New Blood was doing. The MPAA must have been on vacation when this movie was getting edited in the editing room. And thank God, because these are some gnarly kills. Like the kill with like the couple in the tent was so fucking gnarly to see. Like, oh my God, it was such a good kill. Now, this movie is not perfect by any means. So, going away from that, we'll go into the mixed aspects I have here. The look of Jason is good. It's okay. But the thing that I cannot fathom on why they did it was his head and the hockey mask just squeezing it like it's like a pimple fixing to burst. Like, that's all I could think about anytime I saw his face. Because from the neck down, the design's fine. I mean, we're not gonna get any better than Part 7 with the zombie look, but still, it was fine. But if they had just tuned the head a little bit, like make it a regular head instead of like this giant like pimple slash meatball thing, then it could have been a great design. But we didn't get that. I don't know why they went with that. But going on with the next negative, like the whole Jason little demon thing that comes out and goes into people to possess them, that was an interesting choice to say the least. It kind of works, it kind of doesn't for me. I mean, I think it would have been better if it was just like his orange spirit force that went into people like it did with like the coroner and like when Jason's first at the morgue. I think that would have been better. Like his spirit force just like goes into people, like he just possesses them until he gets like to his target in order to be reborn as himself. But the whole little thing, I mean, the design, I mean, it's okay, I guess, but I think the orange spirit force thing could have been better than the little weird demon worm thingy. All right, going on with from the mix, we're now going to go on to the negatives of this movie. And Jason having an unknown niece makes no sense at all. Jason having a sibling, no, he doesn't. That's the whole point. Like, Pamela Voorhees went mad because her only child died, and that drove her insane. Like, that was her one purpose in life, was to take care of Jason, and then that was taken away, and it drove her crazy. That's what happened. But him having like a secret like sister and niece in this whole branch of family that we have not heard of, that doesn't make any sense, because Pamela may have been crazy because Jason went mad, but I don't think she would have gone that way because she had a whole other kid to take care of. And if she's so crazy enough to care about Jason to kill innocent camp counselors, even though they're not the ones that killed or responsible for her son's death, then I don't think she would just up and abandon or neglect the daughter that she has. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Jason should not have any siblings or any nieces or nephews. But even though they shouldn't exist, their characters are fine, but then again, they shouldn't exist. Going from this negative, we got the next negative. This is really not a Friday the 13th movie. And I think that really hurt this movie a little bit from people's perception, because it really isn't a Friday the 13th movie at the end of the day. It's more of like a demon possession movie and like a demon trying to get back its form. That's really all this is, and they just sprinkled Jason in there. Now, I like the plot of this. I think it's fun to watch, but it's not a Friday the 13th movie, and I can see why some really dedicated Friday the 13th fans really hate this movie and think that it shouldn't be a part of the franchise because, well, yeah, it's not really a Friday the 13th movie. I agree with them there, even though I do like the movie. With that being said, this movie was a fun time to watch because I've never seen this before, and it really is a breath of fresh air after you have to go through the slog that is Jason Takes Manhattan and like the first beginning chunk of Part 7. But with that being said, I would give this movie a 3 out of 5. I have fun with this movie. Breath of fresh air all around. It's a fun watch. If you are willing to turn your brain off for some of the parts, then I would highly recommend this one. If you want to just have a good time and like laugh at certain parts and get some lore added to this franchise. But with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.